Hello, everybody. If you're here, go ahead and um, comment. But give me a second. I forgot to. I forgot to connect my hearing aids, so I won't be able to hear anything. But if you're here, say hello. Probably gonna have to take them off. Yeah. Just give me a second here. Mm. Then we are a go. Okay. Hopefully, Oliver will get her. There you are. Yeah. Um, I thought I did, but if not, I don't think I sent the link to you personally. I put it in the Facebook group. I had to have the Facebook group because so that you could comment and submit the work. So, yeah, no biggie. StreamYard has this new features for anyone listening. It's StreamYard on air, and it's a webinar type functionality, and it allows you to capture people who are signing on to watch. So, so in order to watch the replay, you will have to give me your name and email address in case you're someone I don't know. So, but most of the people today I do know. Just want to see it's been 10 minutes. We were thinking that we would have plenty of time, and anyway. Okay, so just a backstory because I am recording this to use to repurpose the information. Uh, if anybody knows myself and my family, we have struggled with depression and anxiety for throughout our family for long periods of time. And but growing up, it wasn't something that we acknowledged or talked about. So a few years ago, I had a falling out with one of my kids, and they completely decided, I'm done with you. I'm not going to have anything to do with you. So I spiraled into the biggest sadness probably in my entire life. Um, and that goes right up there with some things that happened to me as a child and things that um, happened during my marriage. So, so anyway, it was a big deal. So I had quit taking care of myself. I quit. I wasn't taking my medication regularly. I was sick. My house was a mess. Did not want to be. I mean, the family that still want to spend time with me, I wasn't even socializing with them. So, long story short, my husband's like, you need to do something to take care of yourself because you can't keep living like this. You're miserable and we're miserable because you are. And I knew that that was true. So I decided um, I had been part of a group um, with Melissa Bat. She's my coach, and well, she wasn't at the time, but she had some free workshops that I had participated in, and she offered a free 15-minute call, and I just knew that I had to do something. So that was another step that I took to to try and resolve the situation that I was in. Up to that point, I had already gotten a hold of my doctor, and they had made some adjustments to the medication, and um, and with the free workshops that she offered, I had already started to do some things to help myself. However, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Just a minute. This cat is about to knock everything over. Sorry, I want to move my drink out of the way. He's looking at me, trying to figure out how he can jump from my desk to my chair, and there's like things in between. So, but anyway, so that was the situation I was in. So when I got with Melissa, she helped me write down things come up with an action plan that I could do to get myself to a better place. He's rubbing his chin on this microphone stand. And this is what I decided after I was started to do better. Oh, he will once he gets over here. He's going to try. He will try to walk in front of the computer. So don't worry. He will make himself known and to be seen. He's silly. But anyway, he so and just to disclose, I am not where a 100% perfect. And I don't think anyone who has depression or anxiety will ever get to that point where they're 100% okay because this is a um this is in your DNA, and so there's and things are always changing, so this is something that you always have to work on. And so and these are things I still have to remember to do. So um so one thing has been is to help um other people, and because I know I'm not the only one struggling. So okay. Now, I call it out of the funk because it just reminds me of growing up in the 80s, and that's like my favorite era. So, but let's get started. Um, so, the workshop is called Get Out of the Funk Workshop. It's free, and I'm going to offer it. I'm going to repeat this until um, I feel like it's helping, more to myself and then the people that are around me. Just let me make sure that if there isn't anybody else trying to get on here real fast, since if one had trouble, then someone else might have trouble. Let's see here. Mm, nope, don't see anything. Okay, yeah, I think we're good. Okay, so that's why I stuck with the Get Out of the Funk workshop. Um, Great story behind that is Melissa had written a um, a script on Get Out of the Pit, and she hadn't even taught it to anybody yet. She hadn't showed anybody. No one knew about it, and so I mean, I didn't know about it. So, but one day we were in a coaching call, and I was telling her what I was wanting to do. That I wanted to talk about. I wanted to write the processes that I took to help myself. And she was, like, well, what do you call that? And I was like, I want to call it Get Out of the Funk. And she was like, no, what? No way. Because it just coincided with what she had done, but hadn't told anybody about. So I kind of felt like it was, um, meant to be, kind of thing. And so that's just a little story about that. Um, so welcome to the workshop. I put the pictures on here that I have are talking with somebody. Um, then you see the medical part, making sure if you need to go to the doctor, you go to the doctor. Of course, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a trained professional, but I do realize the importance of going to the doctor when it's needed. Journaling, journaling is one of the things that I do to help myself. And of course, exercising, eating healthy. I don't exercise like I should. Of course, that is something that I've always struggled with. However, but when I do, it is something that um, gets the blood going, the oxygen flowing, and you're able to think clearly. And it does help you when you're feeling like you're in just a cloud of, a cloud of whatever it is you want to call it, like, um, especially when you can't think clearly. So the agenda for day one is to figure out, why am I feeling this way? Sometimes figuring that out is not the easiest for some people. Some people already know, they may, well, I've had a bunch of crap happen to me, and there's just a long list of whatever it could be. Or, it could be at that pivotal point in my life where that whole thing happened with, a family member where I just totally, we lost out, touch, and it was just blowed up in my face. And I really wasn't expecting it at the time. And, but now looking back, there were signs that he had been, trying to show me that me, I didn't even see it. And I mean, that doesn't make it bad. It's just, that's how it was. Day two, how do I get out of this funk? So that day two is usually the like most important day where you get the most bang for your buck, where you get down in the nitty gritty and start to figure out a plan. And sometimes day two for me, um, I get stuck there just going over and over again in the process. So, um, I mean, it's sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad because it can be an overwhelming feeling, but we'll get through it together. Day three, find someone you can lean on. If you don't have a support group, you better start writing some names down and be thinking of who you can get a hold of. Um, if you don't have anybody, then you're going to put my name down. And then day four is just reviewing everything that we've went through and making sure we've got processes in place to start working on. And just so you know, this is not rocket science, okay? This is elementary because I like to do things the simplest, easiest way, because I do struggle with ADD, and so I can't have something that's overly complicated. Um, it's not because I'm not intelligent, I am. However, um, it's just because I have so much going on, I have to be careful with my time and not get all this extra frou-frou stuff in the way of the main objective. So that's why we have day 4. So so change, oh god. I need to learn how to spell. Change begins at the end of your comfort zone. I don't know who this Roy Bennett is. I meant to look it up, but um, when you're not feeling comfortable and you're trying new things or trying new processes, um, in the past, I would always shy away from those. As I've gotten older, I try to try. So, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of telling because things start to change when you're like feeling very uncomfortable and unsure of yourself. So today, so why am I feeling this way? So, am I having a conflict with family, friends, or coworkers? What are the emotions I'm feeling? Um, how long have I been feeling these emotions? So, we want to explore why we're having these feelings and what's happening, because if you don't even acknowledge that there's something going on, then cat, stop. if we can't even acknowledge that something is happening or something is going on, then we're not even taking that first step to accept that change or to even think about what that change could mean. So, and we've all heard it. I mean, um, I know I've never been to an AA meeting, but or anything like that, but I do know that they say that the first step um, is to admitting that there's a problem. That problem may not be you or it may be somebody else, but if someone has a problem with you and you're just refusing to look at it, then you're not going to be able to even acknowledge that that person may have a problem or you may have a problem to be able to take the steps to make that change. So, so the important step is to acknowledge so that this cat, I'm so sorry. He's 14 pounds and pushing me off the chair. So acknowledging is the first step to change. So what is causing my stress and depression? The first step to recovery is admitting there's a problem and to recognize what is causing stress in your life. So, so like I know that, um, first of all, I know that depression and anxiety is a physical thing. And when I'm not taking care of myself, it gets worse. The symptoms get worse. And not only am I affected, but people around me are affected. So, so what else could be causing the, I would like to say aggravation of the depression and anxiety. So, what else could that be? And I'm asking a question for an answer. Oh, and before I forget, because, if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay. That way, if I do ask a question, I do want you to answer in the chat. So it just helps me realize that you are participating. So, um, oh, well, I think my one chat person is probably distracted. So, so some other things that could be causing depression and anxiety. That's cute. So what besides what are some other things that could cause your depression and anxiety to um, become worse? So some of the things for me that causes additional anxiety and depression, of course, I've mentioned, conflict with family or not getting my work done that I wanted to do, not getting my house cleaning um, done, not bathing that day. Right. So exactly. So weather is huge. And I know like my mom, she would go through depression um every winter. And I'm sure she still does. So anytime you couldn't see the sun, and get those rays from the sun, she would just, she wasn't herself. And my husband, he goes through the same thing. Now, he would never admit that he gets depressed, but he does say that he misses the good weather. And so those are some things. And what could be good for me could also not be a trigger for you. Another trigger for me is if I don't get to talk to my granddaughter. you know. I do try to talk to her once a week. They're 2 hours away, and sometimes that's kind of hard. Um, so just things like that can cause a trigger, for you to get into a depression. So I see someone else has logged on to watch. If you follow the link and put your name in and your email address, then we'll be able to see who you are and you can comment. Um, Hopefully, if you can't, just send me a chat on instant messenger or just post in the Facebook event. So right now we're talking about what are triggers, what are things that can exasperate your depression and anxiety. For me, my anxiety flares up when I have been working all day and I go downstairs and someone has decided to clean up their bedroom and there's like all the missing dishes are in the sink. So that really it drives me up a tree. It makes me mad. Yes, same here for me. Being away from your granddaughter is a trigger. Um, I talked to another family member, and they are by themselves until next week, and they have been unable to get a hold of their partner because they're away on and they're away on business. They're on a business trip. They're working, and yeah, the dishes. I think it's because I was in charge of doing dishes for 7 people growing up. So that always seems to be something. Um, but anyway, so they they had called me upset, and I was like, "Hey, they're training, they're on a work trip, they're working at numerous hours. I'm sure that everything's fine." And so I know that's the trigger for that person to be, by themselves for numerous days at a time because they like to have their routines and, their partner there with them. So that could be another trigger. Trying to think of some other triggers that could bother us. It's different for everybody. And some people, may think, well, you're just being silly. Well, you can think that all you want, but it's especially when it comes from childhood trauma and, something that triggers you that has happened to you when you were a child will definitely be a trigger. And you have to learn what those are, and you have to be able to discern when it's starting to get out of control because that's when you're going to be able to start getting better with your situation. So at first, it was not easy for me to recognize when something happened, and then my anxiety went through the roof. But once I had calmed down and I thought about, okay, now why did I act like a crazy person? You know, um, it was because I had to practice those steps. I had to practice being intentional and to think about, okay, fall is coming and then it's going to be winter. And we all know that when winter gets here in Indiana, then you're not going to have a lot of sunny days. So, what are you going to do to help yourself during that time? Um, what are you going to do when you're away from your grandkids or your kids and you miss them, but you don't want your anxiety to go through the roof. So what can you do to put some things in place to help you during that situation? So if it's the weather thing, well, if I hit the lottery someday, I will probably take my Fanny down to a state that has sunshine all year round. If I can't do that, then I'm definitely going to, when it is a sunny day, to stick my head outside and make sure I get some sun rays. So just things like that. So with my granddaughter, because they live 2 hours away and I can't go up there every day to see her, I make sure I try and call her and talk to her. And even with my son and daughter-in-law, I try to send them texts, let them know I'm thinking about them. So just things like that, that helps me deal with that situation when I start to feel like I'm going to get out of control with this mess, right? So, okay. Let me check my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. So, the symptoms of mental illness. Um, I have this written down. Let me pull it up because some of it is not. When I first read this, I was completely floored because I would, I didn't. So, symptom. Let's see here. Poor hygiene, avoiding loved ones and friends, calling off work, choosing work. So, of course, I thought, yeah, I can call in work. But choosing to work, I worked so much overtime. It was insane. And yeah, it was needed, and they did need me to work. But there were times where I did not have to work. Okay. So, those are some things that will let you know um, if you are in a um, in a depression or a funk or whatever it is. Um, just let me go back here. So let me pull up the list again. So choosing to work. Now that I look back, I was doing that so much because I knew once I went downstairs that I was going to have to face the dirty house, the people that wanted things from me, the dirty laundry, all of that stuff. Binge watching TV. I used to, on the weekends, I would do that. I would watch TV. I would sit on the couch, I would watch TV, and I would play my phone game. And I would do that all day. And before I knew it, my husband was calling me, letting me know he was on his way home from work. And he'd be like, well, how was your day? What did you do today? And I was like, I relaxed, so, and that, I mean, yeah, I was relaxing, but I wasn't doing anything because when I looked at how dirty my house was or how much I needed to take care of Nikki, it was just so overwhelming to me at that time. So I just would do something else to avoid it. Sleeping more than you're awake. I knew about that one, because when you're depressed, you do sleep a lot. Unable to focus at work. Games and phone games. Yes. Social media. Yes, that was a big one. I would be on Facebook or Pinterest. I didn't do Instagram as much, but on Pinterest, I would get on there and I would just be saving pins to these boards that of stuff I never did. Mindless shopping. Yes. Alcohol and drugs, yes. Especially at night, we would have to, let's go out on the town, and have some fun with our friends or our family or whoever it is. Um, I put on here now, this is a list that I got, and I put boy toys, but I think it meant like cars and electronics and tools and things like that. So my mind always goes to the dirty part of it. Binge eating. Yes, I would binge eat. Um, I would eat until I made myself sick. And then I would just be like, well, there were times when I was thinking, I'm going to eat until it's all gone, but I would make myself sick. But I thought, well, I'll get used to it if I keep eating the same amount of food. Good grief, you can't do that. That's ridiculous. So, and then the last one was choosing sex. So there are some people who struggle with that. Um, I had never struggled with it. And I think it was just because I'm just a lazy type person. But so anyway, but I do know that people do, they struggle with, have more of an addictive personality. I know I have an addictive personality, but it's more towards food. It's more toward other things than, drugs and alcohol and stuff. And to me, I look at all of those things as an equal entity because too much of a good thing is going to hurt you. And so you're going to have to protect yourself and your peace. So I hope that makes sense. I will post um, those reasons to tell if you're in a depressive mode. Sometimes you're in the funk. I'll put that in the group page. Okay, so let's see what else is on here. So the best way to figure out what's in your head is to get it out on paper. So this is called a brain dump. So a brain dump is simply the act of dumping all the contents of your mind onto a blank page, as one might dump the contents of a purse onto a table. You're spilling out your stressors, your nagging thoughts, your mental clutter, your pesky annoyances. So that is the homework for today is to get a piece of paper and a pencil and to write down all of those things that are in your head. And this isn't a one-time thing. Like I will do this I want to say regularly, randomly, whatever that means, but I will do this, ever so often when I am feeling like I can't clear my head. I will just get my journal out that I write my stuff down in, and I will write down the stressors that I'm dealing with that day, those nagging thoughts, the mental clutter. So, like, the mental clutter is all of the lists. Like for me, it's a list. I have lists that have constantly going on in my head. Like I need to pay the doctor bill. I need to tell my husband that I have a meeting after work, or I need to remind him, that we've got a bill coming out of the account. Just all of that goofiness. And then your pesky annoyances. So, complaining about um, a coworker, or complaining about how I couldn't zip up my pants, just or complaining about who used the last of the syrup and did not tell anybody that we needed more. That was my big thing today. So, I mean, so so that is what I want each of you to do today is to write down and it's going to be random and it probably won't even make any sense, but it will help you with the next step that is coming tomorrow. And so I really hope that Yeah, the syrup. And then my Oliver comes in and says, "Mom, you were the last one to use the syrup." I said, "Well, if I was, I obviously didn't remember, and I did not tell myself to get more." So, but I mean, that had turned into an ugly disagreement. So, but he apologized. Anyway, so especially I do these brain dumps when I have a project that I need to work on and I can't get started because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So, but anyway, um, so what are a couple things um, that's your mental clutter or your pesky annoyances? I'll give you a few minutes. And so that's what I want for us to do today is to just do a brain dump and to get all that negativity out of our heads and to um, okay, so you're looking for a job right now and that's all you can think about. Well, okay, so what are the negative things that are in your head? I mean, looking for a job is a positive, action, because um yeah, it's annoying. I would not want to look for a job. I'd be like, well, I just ask where the cheese line is. No, I wouldn't, but you get my I know you understand how I'm feeling about that. But anyway, so so what are some things, the negative thoughts that are going in your head about looking for another job? You know, it could be a number of things. For me, I mean, I've applied for different positions within my company that I work for, and I would think about, oh, so are they going to ask me the same questions as the last time? So what hoops am I going to have to jump through to try and convince these people that I'm good for this position? And these are this people, oh my Lord, $15 an hour? What was it? The manager of a toilet bowl scrubbing or something? I mean, those are legit jobs, but good grief, $15 an hour? Ain't nobody working. Yeah, we'll just leave that for a different conversation. But so, yeah, I mean, getting to that bachelor's, that degree, um, costs more than that they're willing to pay you. That's insane. So, yeah, I mean, what are those negative thoughts? I would definitely write those down and definitely write down um, other things in your life that are preventing you from being the best person that you can be. Is there negative things going on with your family? Now, I know your oldest sister is like the best thing that's ever happened to you, so I know that nothing about her would be on that list. However, um, you would have to think about how you could be just as perfect as she is. So, in case nobody's figured it out, my sister's in the chat. So those are just some things. And don't shirk away from the thoughts that you have about those something that really, really um is going to make you cry. There's been lots of times I've done a brain dump and I'm bawling my freaking eyeballs out, right? And then there's other times I'm doing a brain dump and I'm like, oh, well, this didn't hurt as bad as I thought it was. So it's don't shirk away from those very, very hurtful things that you are trying to avoid because those are the things that um, you've got to recognize them to be able to make a change. So let's see what's next. Okay. So questions or comments. If you have a question or comment, please leave it in the chat and I will answer it or someone else in the group will answer it. Once you're done with your brain dump, please post it inside the Facebook group along with replay, and hashtag brain dump. Because at the end of the workshop, two, I've got three prizes to offer um, the group, and you have to have, hold on here, you have to have been watch. You don't have to be on live, but you have to watch all three Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays videos and let me know you've been in a group and to post the picture or post the homework. So and and you can, and as long as you have it on there by Thursday, if for some reason you are busy during Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as long as it's in there by Thursday, it'll be all good. So, and then whoever's in there, I'll draw um, the names. I've got one free coaching session, and then I have uh, what's the other one? I took so much time to get these together, and I can't even remember what it was that I did. Um, oh, so yeah, I've got 3 free coaching sessions, and then I have, I think, like a dollar amount off of a paid session, and then I haven't decided. I wanted to have like 4, maybe 5. I haven't decided on the last one. I was thinking of like a monetary gift certificate, so we'll just see. Anyway, so anybody have any questions at the moment? My one in-house person. So this video will be uploaded onto the Facebook page for those of you who could not get on to during live because, most of us have jobs during the day. So, anywho, thank you guys so much for those of you who are here, and then those of you who will be here in the future. So, just as soon as the live is completed, then I will upload it onto the Facebook for those. she Marcy says, I'll do my brain depth. This will be fun. Yeah, I know. Sometimes it is fun and sometimes it's not. But that's just part of the healing process is to clean out the dirt that's in the wound. So